Hello, YouTubes, and welcome to another edition of the Casual Word. I'm your host, Langley, and today is just a public service announcement, if you will. The scope of the show is to be able to show people that there are others who are walking on the path and others that are struggling with things. And I had a thought, and I've been praying over it a lot, and I can't ask people to come onto the show and talk about their life and their experience if I'm not willing to do the same thing. And so today, really what I just want to do is give you guys some encouragement, but I also want to give you complete transparency into things that I'm dealing with and the things that I have going on, because it's important for all of us to be able to share. And I am not an expert, and I am not in any way, shape, or form an authority on any of the subjects that we talk about, but I pray and I study and I try my best to understand, discern what the Lord would have me to do so that I can impart knowledge into other people and that we can have genuine and enriching conversation. And so with all that, I just want to talk to you guys briefly about the things that are happening right now in my life, because right now I'm struggling. I'm struggling with depression. I'm struggling with anxiety. And these things have been stemmed from the last 5 or 6 years of my life, growing, of course, making poor decisions, making some good decisions, of course, but a lot of things that happened that were outside of my control, a lot of things that happened that I didn't cope with. I didn't deal with those things. I didn't mourn. I wasn't angry. I basically elicited no emotional response whatsoever. I just kind of bottled it all up, tucked it away, and just kind of left it there in the back of my mind in a closet somewhere. And that is the wrong thing to do. And I want to talk to you guys about that because if you're going through something, if you're dealing with the loss of a loved one or a bad breakup or a very sharp change in your circumstances, you need to talk about it. Don't hold it in. And don't bottle it up, and don't try and pretend like everything's okay when it's not. And I speak from experience because I struggled with trying to be the guy who always had it all together, who was unflappable, never got out of character, and that works. And it did work for a long time because, I've come to a place where I understand things that I can and cannot change. But these are some things that happened a few years ago that were completely out of my control, but they affected me greatly because of the situations and circumstances and the way that they changed my life. It was a very sharp change in the way my life was, the direction it was going, and those things take an emotional effect on you. And one test for me that I know this is in humility and courage, because I had to raise my hand and tell somebody that I needed help. And that was something that was really difficult for me to do, because of pride, because of the way I was raised, because of the way I carried myself. I thought, man, there's no way. I don't need any help. I don't have a problem. But the truth of the matter is, I did have a problem, and I do have a problem. And the other thing that was revealed to me through a book that I was reading called Simply Church is that people are placed in positions professionally to help people's lives. And we talk about things that are positive and they're well for people and they help people, but they may not be operating inside the body of Christ, albeit the church, right? So that was something that I've struggled with in my journey, is understanding that it's okay to be operating in the Spirit and be operating and be doing the right thing and helping people and not actually be doing it inside of a church. So what was revealed to me through this part of this journey so far, and just trying to understand the next steps and the phases that have to happen, things that I have to go through, is that there are professionals, and the Lord has placed these people in these positions because that's their burden, right? To help people understand these kinds of deep-seated issues. And so there's no embarrassment to going and seeking these people. They're there for a reason. They exist for a reason. It's very similar to doctors. You know, we believe in the Spirit, and we know the Spirit can help us, and we know that we can do all things through Christ. But we also know that we're human beings, and sometimes we need interaction with a person that we can see and talk to just to help bounce some things off of, help identify the issue, see it from a different vantage point, you know, an outside looking in perspective to help us come to grips and realize and have revelations, you know, and have epiphanies and be able to figure out what the tools are to cope going forward. Because I will tell you, this is a very real thing, and that was where I was naive in my understanding. It was that, oh yeah, you know, depression, oh, it's just all in your head. Well, that's true, because the battlefield is our mind, and the enemy wants to infiltrate our minds and ruin us from the inside out. So there'll be a lot of things that happen to you on the exterior, you know, but there are going to be a lot more dramatic things that happen on the inside, happen, you know, inside of your mind, take place in your mind. If the enemy knows he can get you there, it's so much harder for us to recover and to overcome from that and to bounce back from that. So, you know, it is all in our minds, but there's people in place that can help us deal with those things. So I want to speak encouragement to anybody who's watching this, that's going through something, that's dealing with something, that you're not alone. And, you know, there are people professionally, there are unprofessional people, I mean, just your friends, family, anybody that has your best interest at heart, it's okay to talk to. Now, I will warn you against telling everybody your problems, because that's a good way to get a lot of things out that you don't want people to know. So be very cautious and be very judicious about who you tell and what you tell. You know, people have a tendency to speak without thinking in a lot of cases, so they may mean you well, but may make one singular comment to someone else, and now you've got other things that you're going to have to deal with. Personal information that's being broadcast, and you don't want that happening. That's just going to compound your situation. So be very, very careful about the people that you talk to. Be careful about the people that you let in to the deep, dark places. The people that you let into, you know, the secrets and the things that you don't talk to anybody about. Be very careful about who is privileged to that information, because that information is very dangerous, and it can be very dangerous and very detrimental with the wrong person knowing it. You know, the word says in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 11 that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by every word of our testimony. So that's part of this journey for me too, is that I want to be transparent so that you all can see my progression and see how the Lord's going to move in my life, because, you know, I can already tell you He's blessed me within this meltdown period that I had, and this issues that have come to the surface that I've got to deal with now. But He's already blessed me without me really realizing it, and I had to take a step back and look at how the Lord moves. Again, you know, all things work together for the good of them that love Him and are called according to His purpose. That means that in all situations, that there's a silver lining, right? This is that thought process for this new year, is that your silver lining thought process is that there are good things that are going to come out of this. So I can tell you that my job was very demanding mentally, and I have been needing a break, and I've been temporarily relieved of my job duties, and so this is a much needed time of reflection. This is a much needed time of soul searching, and so I bless God that I have time off, because that was not something that was going to happen without some kind of dramatic incident, you know, quitting or getting fired or something of that nature. And this is nothing near that extreme, but it did afford me some time off that I needed. So you got to think about the good things that are happening. Also, too, you know, I've been on this wilderness journey, and this wilderness journey is I took a step away from my church home and from people to continue to really gain a better, clearer relationship with God. And what I realize is happening now is that through this journey, in the beginning of it, there was some very easy revelations. You know, we call this low-hanging fruit, right? There's the stuff that's easy to figure out, easy to fix, easy to move forward with. And then you got to climb up the tree some and get to the fruit that's more difficult. And that's where we are now, is that He gave me direction, and He gave me purpose. and he gave me tasks, part of which is this casual word came out of my wilderness moment. But now he's telling me that we've gotten to a point where we now have to address some serious issues in order for you to continue to grow, to reach the next level that I have for you. These things are going to be a hindrance if we don't get them out of the way. So in God's perfect timing, he has put me in a place to be able to get past some issues in order for me to get to the next level, right? Because, the greater the level, the greater the test, the greater the issue, and the greater the enemy's going to fight you. But you have to get over some stuff before you can get to that next level. So I recognize now that this is a next level test for me in order to attain greater and to get to the next level in my walk and in my ministry. So I'm definitely excited, right? We should have joy in our trials, right? My faith is being tested. So I'm excited that I'm being tested, and on the other side of this is going to be victory, and the other side of this is going to be a next level in my walk. So that's definitely thrilling for me. So continue, as hard as it sounds, and as hard as I know that it can be, because I'm in it right now, to look at things with a different mindset, to, as best you can, understand what the Lord is actually doing. How is he moving? If you'll continue to pray, continue to fast, continue to study, he'll talk to you. He'll reveal things to you, and you'll be like, okay, now this makes sense. And you think about his timing versus our timing. There's some amazing things that are going to happen. So count it all joy, and know that you're not alone in your trials. Know that you're not alone in your tribulation, and know that everybody is susceptible to issues and to emotional problems and spiritual problems. So we are not unique in the fact that things just don't affect us as Christians, right? The more we walk, the more issues that we're going to have, because the enemy does not want us to fulfill our destiny and to fulfill the goals that the Lord has placed down in front of us for us to attain. So again, this is the Casual Word, and this is a public service announcement. Again, I just want to be transparent with you all about the things that I'm dealing with, the things that I'm going through. I know that God's going to get the glory out of this, and I know that some greater things are going to be coming on the other side. So always be looking for another episode with a guest. I plan to have somebody on next week. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, any topics of concern, please email me at thecasualword@gmail.com. Please like us, follow us on Facebook, post these on your Twitter, your Google+, any of your social media accounts. We always enjoy everyone's interaction. I always want to thank everybody that's been watching this show and subscribing. I appreciate you all very much. I'm Langley, and this is the Casual Word. And until next time, stay blessed.